Hey everyone, Nathan Nerdark here from Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds. Today we're going to be talking about in-game technology, as in the type of tech that's in your game. With me I have...
Dave.
Ryan.
So when Dave brought up the concept for this, I was thinking, oh, okay, so we're talking like...
But before we get into that, guys, go to the description below, find the link for the newsletter, sign up, get cool stuff from Nerdarchy, learn how to game with us.
Onto our regular scheduled Nerdarchying.
So like I was saying, I was thinking, you're talking about the difference in what people had during the Bronze Ages, to the Iron Age, to
lasers.
To lasers. Yeah, and then there's a little stuff that happens in between lasers and spaceflight.
Well, here's what I was thinking, right? I was driving over here, and in front of me, there was a police trailer. And I was like, okay, whatever, no big deal. But then I saw something that caught my eye.
He had a RDD2 unit?
No, it was the balloon unit. Ballooning unit. I'm like, what? What do the police need a balloon for?
Recreational. It's good for stress.
Yeah. So, but right,
but
like
float about.
What that made me think about was goblins from Warcraft.
Yeah.
Well, you kids out there. This is before the MMO, before that, but the strategy game, and you had your goblins, zeppeliners, and stuff.
Oh
like that.
yeah.
I can see my house. Yeah,
I can see my house.
So when I initially started playing D&D, it was like medieval fantasy, and you did not diverge from that.
Yeah.
Like anything else was like sacrilege. But then as we played more and more, I kind of got bored, and I started crossing the streams and mixing stuff, and it's like in some games, we allow black powder and, pistols and muskets and that kind of stuff. And then I had a game where I actually even used...
more steampunk sort of stuff.
Yeah, I used goblins and steam-powered armor against the party. So I guess what I want to know is, what do you guys feel about different technologies, different levels? I mean, Eberron, they've introduced a lot that's very arcanapunk with airships and the lightning rail.
It's basically most modern technologies are replicated in some sort of arcane form.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you have most modern world conveniences. So.
With the Eberron setting, and that's the other thing. Like, so you have a magic world, and then you start increasing your technology levels. The question is, how far could the technology really increase because there's magic? Mm-hmm. Like, if you had magic to solve the problem, why would you evolve the technology to begin with? Unless, of course, some people had magic and some people didn't. So you'd need to come up with the reason that technology would advance, or the reason why magic couldn't just solve all the problems.
Yeah, is there a restriction on who learns magic, who practices it, or is it banned from the area? So it's like, well, let's see what happens when we make this. In
traditional, D&D, I think basically it's more like the rigors of being a spellcaster are too difficult, so not enough people could actually use it to apply it, and it wasn't.
That was before stat by.
Yeah, the effects weren't mass producible. But while Eberron, what they did is they created an NPC class, because 3rd edition had those, called Mage Right. So you weren't really a mage, but you could do some magic stuff. Mm-hmm. So you could definitely be like the mage factory worker.
Yeah. So also, too, another good example would be like the visuals from the Harry Potter movies, where like in the wizarding world, you'd have things that were like basically stonographs or whatever, like people would talk and it would like type up whatever. Yeah. But like I think it was like coming from an actual like old school typewriter that was just typing.
Enchanted typewriter basically.
Yeah. So like a lot of the things that you might seek for technology, like it was a good way of showing that like tech in this world like only came so far ahead, and then magic kind of just like mapped onto it or graphed onto it.
Or what's to keep from like the melding of magic and technology?
Well, if you're in the Dresden universe, it's because stuff kind of just goes kablooey when you're mixing the two. So there's that.
That's the Dresden universe, but in the D&D universe, it's very possible and probable to enchant ammunition that would be used in a black powder weapon to give it either a different effect or a bonus to hit.
Magic bullets.
Essentially, yes, magic bullets.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm going a little, like, generic fantasy that you could apply in any game, like a Savage Worlds or whatever, like, that you kind of have to... It's almost like deciding on your interactions between magic and psionics, like tech and magic, like, what does that look like in your world?
Well, yeah, that becomes one of the conundrums that you come up with.
And the Illithids, for example, bringing up psionics, the Illithids have psychic circuitry and everything. Like their ships run on it. Everything runs off of this technology. Yeah, this weird psionic interface technology that they developed. It's how they had their intergalactic empire of things. So that's another outlet you could do if you wanted to do sci-fi, but you wanted to do magic sci-fi instead of high-tech sci-fi. So that's a kind of
quick question,
elements of circuitry and things.
Quick question for each of you before we wrap this up. What's your sweet spot for technology?
Oh, you know what? Every once in a while, I just want to be like, look at this. It's a longbow. And that's it. Like that's like the apex of technology is that you have a longbow. Yeah. You can kill people from a distance, and it's not a spear. Yeah. And then other times I like all kinds of like Eberron-ish kind of crazy thing where you use like magic to its fullest extent, but it loses some of the magic. You loses some of the magic feel when it's like just like today's technology.
Magic becomes mundane.
Yeah. So, but I don't like to kind of mix it to the middle. I either like high tech or low tech. I'm not a middle of the road kind of guy for it.
Yeah, I usually keep the tech pretty low in any games I want to do.
So like anymore, like I kind of want gunslingers a little bit, and I want alchemists in there, and just not super technology. I like the flying ships from Eberron.
Do you want a Victorian?
Oh yeah, that actually would be pretty kind of cool as well.
I mean, because they had some stuff going on, like there's some discovery.
Yeah, I like steampunk, but then I definitely like the Eberron version of that, which is really arcanapunk. So like sometimes I really want that, especially after just playing your standard D&D campaign for so many decades. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the evolution of my Shattered Realm campaign. It was like I need something completely different. Mm-hmm. So how do we do it? I know lots of magic, lots of psionics, flying ships, and maybe some steam-powered armor.
Just throw that in there.
So I don't know, guys. I would love to hear what you're doing in your games. Do you strictly keep your sci-fi away from my fantasy type deal, or do you like to mix and match? Let us know in the comments below. While you're at it, like, share, and subscribe.
Follow us over on Instagram.
You can check out the articles over at nerdarchy.com.
Till next time,
stay nerdy.